what's the first thing that comes to mind? That little black kid, bro, bouncing the basketball. Bro, how long ago was that? Ooh. And then this was Ted DiBiase going out and having a 25-minute match. That one thing, bro. Yeah. Bro, what was that? 30 years ago? 40 years ago?
Well, it had to be about 89.
I mean, my God, bro, that's what I'm talking about. When you watch that, you never ever forget that.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Wrestling Outlaws. I'm here with the Wrestling Outlaws themselves, former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, WWE head writer, and we have NWA reigning, defending World Heavyweight Champion and OVW, still National Heavyweight Champion over at OVW?
Yeah, I am.
Nice.
I'm a proud endorser of Fresca.
Oh, that's a great drink, bro. I love Fresca.
Oh. There you go.
That is the best thirst quencher out there.
I had a nerve for Vince Russo, man. I like it.
Man. Yeah, well, Fresca's been around forever, bro.
Yeah, I remember Fresca from back in the day. What flavor you got, East?
Grapefruit.
Grapefruit citrus. Good call.
Really? That's a thing. Huh. I might hop on Amazon and buy some grapefruit citrus Fresca.
It's great, man. It is great.
How long have you been NWA World Heavyweight Champion now, EC3?
At least 6 months. No, August 25th. Air date of this is
6 months.
Wow.
That is a long time, bro.
30 title defenses, too.
Now, and these days, man, a 6-month reign is pretty impressive, man.
I'm going to hold it for 3 years. So
3 years? You going for any particular person's record right now?
I'm going to have to, actually, I wanted to look at the records. I'm going to have to start navigating. But
you should. Yeah. You should start having somebody's, you should pull like a Rick Rude and have somebody's face on your tights. And that'll be the next person you're going for their reign. Have their face on your tights. That's the next person you're going for.
I don't necessarily want to put them over with their dumb face on my big giant rig, but
it's not putting them over. That's defaming them in quite a bit.
Yeah, but I don't hate the idea of some sort of like Target acquired sort of graphic.
There you go. Yeah.
Or I'm fighting the ghosts of the past,
Yep, absolutely.
That's very Overman nonsense.
Yep. All right, let's unfortunately a couple somber news that we had recently was the deaths of both Ole Anderson, who was 81 years old, and Virgil, who was 61 years old. Of course, Ole Anderson, legendary Minnesota Wrecking Crew, one of the founding fathers of the Four Horsemen, of course, legendary booker, for territories. Positive and negative things that was said about Ole Anderson backstage, a ton of stories from many, many different people as far as just working with him. Vince, did you ever work with Ole?
No, I never worked with him, but I did a show with Stevie Ray today.
Okay.
And Stevie Ray said, bro, when him and Booker got brought up to WCW, and something happened, bro, where like they were out the door, and he was telling me today, Ole was the only guy in the office that stood up for him.
Wow.
And like put his reputation on the line and everything. And like Stevie said to me, bro, if he would have never done that, I don't know what would have happened with our careers. Because it was when they first went up to WCW and something didn't work out and they were ready to ship him back to Houston. And he said, bro, Ole was the only one that stood up for us. And if it wasn't for him, there may have never been a Harlem Heat, a Booker T, and a Stevie Ray.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing story. And now both of them are in the Hall of Fame in the WWE. So Ole was essentially the launch pad to that, and he bet on them. He basically put all the chips in for Harlem Heat, and they end up having a really, really good return on investment for sure. So,
it's funny because I want to ask EC3 this. When Stevie was telling me the story today, Ole Anderson was all about, looking at Booker and looking at Stevie Ray, and he was all about, you guys can make money for me. That's what he was all about. He looked at those guys, you guys can make money for me. EC3, does anybody look at wrestling that way anymore today at all? Like, we can make money with this guy? Is that even a thing in 2024?
It should be. And it's the way I look at talents when we're doing Exodus and things like that. Or if somebody's like pitching me hard themselves, I can make you money. And like back then, it was more tangible, I think. It was easier because it's based on ticket sales and ratings, and what we're running with like a regional territorial promotion that max capacity is selling out 250 to 300, that based on what I've been doing, like, can you really? Because we're already selling out. But then also what I see is the long-term investment. Like, look at these guys. There's a tag team I have in mind when I'm thinking about that, where if I'm looking at them and like, we might not see money via ticket sales, and we're not collecting on their merch or anything because this is independent wrestling. But when I finally launch how the content's going to be streamed and things like that, and we're platforming new wrestlers and creating, giving people a spotlight that's hopefully a more national platform, like, yeah, maybe they are going to make me money based on the intriguing characters they have, the content we can create with them, and then the good matches they have that people do watch. So all those views could possibly rack up money down the road. Or if I'm seeing this tag team in PA called TME we're talking to, like, I see that in them. Are they going to, if I'm going to book them on a show, are they going to sell one extra ticket in Cleveland? No, probably not. But in 5 months, when our content's being distributed and people are watching, are people wanting to see more of them? And then, a new video, one of their weird promos dropped. I'm watching that. Click, 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 click. Hopefully that's making money. So I look at it like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's harder to judge now.
Yeah. I got to tell you, though, Chris, like, man, and I'm not picking on him. I'm just telling you what I've seen after 4 years. I can't believe for a second Tony Khan is looking at talent like that. Like, I'm going to sign so-and-so from the WWE because I can make money with him. I can't believe Tony Khan looks at the business that way at all. Because I guess, I don't know, bro. If you don't have to make money, are you going to look at people like they can make money for you?
No, because he's probably looking at like, I'm going to look like a great booker if I put this good wrestler in the ring with this good wrestler, and they're going to have a good match. Well, no shit. They're good wrestlers. They're going to have a good match. And I think that's it's not the wrong mindset, because you want to have good matches, but are good matches going to draw you money, or are the characters and the stories told with the wrestling providing the action of this whole entire enterprise going to make you money? The investment people have in the people having the good matches. Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega. I'm going to look like a booker or a genius if I book that match. Dude, every internet person in the world wants to see that match. It's not like hard to think of.
Yeah.
How is it going to make you money? Well, I would imagine building it, promoting it, having them like going at it and really building for a long time, where people are just like, can't wait to see, to go sell out a 20,000 seat arena with people throwing down money. That makes you money. But instead, hey, that's going to be a really good match. Let's do it. And it's done. And that's done again. They just had
Chris, they just recently had a match on one of the shows. I think it might have been Dynamite, but it was Daniel Bryan against one of these Japanese guys.
Yeah.
The number bombed, bro. You think people are getting like, just we've seen it, like the number, like, I was surprised at how low the number was.
Well, I mean, Vince is just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. I mean, characters mattered then, characters matter now. You know what I mean? Like, it's if it's the same old type of catch as catch can, like we're gonna have an amazing match. That only reaches only to a select few of people, in the pro wrestling business. I mean, when you're bringing in, the kid, or when you're bringing in, the casual fan, they're looking for those comic book style characters that can cling on to. They know who the baby face is, they know who the heel is. But when Daniel Bryan is facing someone, it's just kind of like, I mean, who am I cheering? Who am I booing? Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Or is it just a wrestling clinic? You know what I mean? It's only to a select few.
Well, you can get the best of both worlds if you do it right. You can have your great match. I'm not sure who the Japanese wrestler is, but if he was built up over time as this amazing wrestler from Japan, and I'm seeing these highlight videos and this like crazy training montages, and he's coming to AEW, and you built him up, and he comes and he just smokes a really good list of talent, just destroys, high level mid card talent till you get to Daniel Bryan. Then people are like, I need to see these guys go at it because this is going to be awesome.
It's funny, bro, because they, I mean, that's why Muda was special.
Sure.
Every time the great Muda came in, it was a big deal. That's the thing with Tony. He just brings in these Japanese names that are great wrestlers, and they're going to have great matches, and we know nothing about the person. There's no backstory. That's why I remember, growing up, every time Muda came in, they made the biggest deal out of it, bro.
Yeah.
But they don't do it today, man.
Well, he had mystique. I mean, his character was amazing, man. He had an amazing form of mystique on him. He had the paint, he had the mist, he had a very snappy, type of wrestling style to him, and his character was big enough alone to not really have a big story, around his character. But nowadays, I think, to your point, EC3, you need us to buy in. If you really want to, you can have the best of both worlds, but it's still that WrestleMania 3 effect, man. It's like, yes, we really bought into Savage Steamboat, but that wasn't the main event. I mean, the main event was Hogan Andre, and the main event was Hogan Andre for a reason. So nowadays they're trying to cater to the Savage Steamboat crowd. But at the end of the day, we want Hogan Andre, man, because that's where the characters is. That's where the money's drawn at the end of the day. So I think that's my take on it. So.
It ain't rocket surgery, man. It's not brain science sometimes.
Not, bro. It's not.
And you really can have all these things that the perceived internet fan would want. Mm-hmm. If you do it right, it's the difference between good and amazing. It's the difference between that was cool and I'll never forget that. Mm-hmm. And that's what the industry's been lacking severely.
Yeah. Even with Savage Steamboat, though, I mean, Savage was an amazing heel at the time. And Steamboat was the cookie cutter, quintessential baby face, kissing his, wife and kid. That was still that type of dynamic there that made it work. And it wasn't just a match, thrown into WrestleMania. So,
well, then the Intercontinental title had value too.
It did, absolutely,
bro. It's so funny because, bro, listen, what year was that, Chris?
What year was that?
WrestleMania 3.
87.
Okay, so Chris, I'm 26. Mm-hmm. I'm 26 years old. Bro, at 26 years old, I was pissed that Savage lost the title. At 26. Wow. I look at today and I'm like, what has happened in wrestling in the last 25 years that had any kind of an effect on me whatsoever? Mm-hmm. I was legitimately pissed at 26, knowing it's a work, knowing what the business was. That's gone, bro. That is gone.
Yeah, that feeling, man.
Right, man.
Yeah. Let's talk about Virgil, man. He was a very interesting addition to the pro wrestling world. Of course, he was Soul Train Jones, right, before he had his run in WWE and became a the Virgil, the bodyguard of Ted DiBiase. Interestingly enough, man, I think one of the pinnacle of his wrestling career was probably when he turned babyface, and against Ted DiBiase and won the $1 Million Championship, man. And that was a big part of his career. I believe that was around 92, if I'm not mistaken. And, he had his moment. NWO, he was still around in different times, but people know who Virgil was. He definitely made his name in the pro wrestling business. Early memories when you were a kid of Virgil, EC3.
I was just watching this again. Was the $1 Million Man retrieving the $1 Million belt from the jewelry shop?
Nice.
Virgil in his white sleeveless shirt. Like Ted's just so comic book bad, over the top, villainy, laughing, and everybody else. I think the beauty of that sketch is like everybody else is just looking at him like it's ridiculous, and he doesn't know. And I thought that was kind of humorous, tongue in cheek. I mean, I do remember being very happy he won the $1 Million belt, and I do remember kind of like NWO and like he was just there. And I do remember one day, I think I was 16, walking through the Great Lakes Mall. There he was, set up his gimmick table.
Wow.
I had no idea. I'm like trying to go to Abercrombie and Fitch, and I'm like, is that Virgil? Yeah.
Nice.
Virgil, you want a Surge? I asked him. I had the Surge cup. Yeah.
How was your conversation with Virgil at 16 years old, man?
It was unmemorable.
Unmemorable.
I would say, no, man, I'm good. You want to buy an autograph? I'm like, I don't have any cash. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Any memories of Virgil, Vince?
Yeah, bro, it's fun. It's everything we're talking about, bro. When you bring up Virgil and Ted DiBiase, bro, and I don't even know how many years ago it was, bro. What's the first thing that comes to mind? That little black kid, bro, bouncing the basketball. Bro, how long ago was that? Ooh. And then this was Ted DiBiase going out and having a 25-minute match. That one thing, bro. Yeah. Bro, what was that? 30 years ago? 40 years ago?
Oh, it had to be about 89.
I mean, my God, bro, that's what I'm talking about. When you watch that, you never ever forget that. But the thing, go ahead, EC3, go ahead.
No, but like those things added up to great wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That's right.
It added up to Virgil versus $1 Million Man, which I do remember. I think Virgil is in red.
Yep.
I remember vividly, like happy that he won, and we would not have this actual emotional release that I remember if he wasn't his lackey and his stooge kicking people, doing push-ups and knocking balls out of hands, and just standing there, and the berating and the beatings from this $1 Million jerk. You know what I mean? So
RVD was one of those kids too, one of those segments.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was one
the thing we got to look at though, Chris, which is really like bro, dementia at 61.
Yeah, man.
I mean, is that tied in with CTE, Chris? I mean, I mean, my God, bro, dementia at 61.
Yeah.
Man, bro, that's horrible. That's horrible, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that causes early onsets, impact, stress, things like that. I mean, usually onsets is nowhere near. I mean, it's usually late 60s, early 70s is when you start to see just normal onsets of dementia, with certain people, but that definitely could be exacerbated by certain factors. And, all the impact, that he had, within being a wrestler, for him to have dementia that early in his life, man, is definitely not normal.
That's sad, bro. That's sad.
Rough.
Yeah.